What's happening, guys? So today's episode is all going to be about mechanical engineer. So building services, mechanical engineer. That's what this episode is all going to be about. So I'm a plumber by trade, but I want to tell you a bit about my experience. So I've been doing building services for the last 8 or 9 years. So I've got quite a bit of experience inside and outside buildings, working on different types of buildings. So I continue to keep on building my knowledge and my skill, and stick around to the end, and I'm going to tell you about a book as well, which I do believe will help you gain that knowledge and that experience, what you need when you're on the job. Right, so my experience as a plumber on site, that's where I first started getting the confidence to, this building service and stuff. Let me touch some of it, or let me touch on it and see what I can do. So I started having my first roles as a plumber on site. So I was the plumber on site, but the mechanical jobs would pop up and I would know what to do because I have a general understanding. And plumbing, I would say, is some of it is to do with processes, like how something happens. And once you go through them processes, you understand. Like a perfect example, the first time I changed a belt which was on an air handling unit. So some air handling units, they have a belt which goes around and that pulls the fan and that makes it go around. So I'm going to try and show you it over here. So that's what it looks like. So the first time I done that, I learned it from YouTube. So I thought, why am I not uploading my content and the things which I've learned so far in my journey on YouTube for others to be able to learn, and someone might get something from it. So that's what I'd done, and it was that simple. But I needed another tool, which was a tensioner, so I could make sure that the belt had enough tension. That's one thing where I fell short, but I knew that, for next time, that's a lesson, or that's a tool which I need to get, which I don't normally possess one of those types of tools. But here's the tool, and this is what it looks like here. So being a mechanical engineer in a lot of different environments, whether they be office spaces, and these are the places where I've worked for. I've worked for Amazon before, their headquarters, so they own a lot of buildings in central London. So I used to run cooling towers for them. Everybody knows, if you don't know what a cooling tower, this is what it looks like. And I hope these things help, because when you understand what a cooling tower does, then you get it, right? So I work on things like the BMS, building management control, or total controls. I work with these type of controlling systems which control these big buildings, because you can't run around and do everything. Some of it's done by computer. So you need to set certain things, you need to change over the pumps, you need to do other things like that. You will do those things by the computer, and it's easier, basically. So gaining these skills, I'm coming from a plumber to a mechanical engineer. So what I'd done was I thought about the buildings which I worked in, and I studied the things which I'll be working on. So let's say there was a time I was working on cooling towers. There was a time when I was just working on a lot of fan coil units. So I needed to know and retain a lot of information about fan coils. It's boring as hell, but you know what? When you look at the things which get you paid, it's not bad. It's not a bad payday. So I thought, let me find out more about it, because this is something which keeps on recurring and happening in my career. So FCU is short for what? If you don't know, I'll put it up there anyway. So it's fine anyway, because all of these things I didn't know from the beginning, and I don't think much people are going to tell me. So I had to find out for myself. Finding out for myself means researching and finding out what they actually do. So somebody can't just tell me on the job, oh, it does this. You didn't know. People love to do that when you're at work. You don't know everything. And the whole point of learning stuff is actually finding it out for yourself and finding out where that lesson was for you. So I'm doing that at the moment, and I'm growing my skills. I'm gaining more knowledge and confidence in these stages, while figuring out what I have to do, the process behind it, and why we're doing it. It's the reason why you put salt inside a softener, so you don't end up with a lot of lime scale in your system. But again, the salt looks like this. These are the salt. So you can get tablets, and you can get another type as well. I can't remember off the top of my head actually, but you get tablets, and you get, I think it's like flakes or whatever it is, salt flakes or whatever it's called. One or the two. And these are things which I've found a lot in these types of buildings. Like I said to you, the fan coils, like I said to you, the salt machine, big types of pumps, big boilers. We also have an energy efficiency center which mixes electric and gas today to make your building like an A1 rated. But these are stuff which I'm still learning about today. But as we learn, you're going to pick up on stuff and you're going to remember stuff. This is how I went through my career, learning about these different parts which I needed to know about, which were crucial parts to me being more comfortable in the position and more successful in the position which I am in now today. So being a mechanical engineer was definitely a step up from being the plumber, and it opened a lot of doors because mechanical services run through and through a lot of commercial and domestic buildings. So you need, well, you don't need to, but I think it's nice to have on your resume or something to add to just to be in this one trade, mechanical. So think about it, it's a little bit of food for thought. I thought to myself, I'll explain to people because again, they see me as Mr. London Plumber, but I do, most of my work is mechanical. I don't really put it up because there's not really so much people that is into it, but I know that it's a niche where people need people like myself who have a bit of knowledge and have a bit of experience. I have experience with RRR, water treatment and plant room, stuff like that. I've also worked on water treatment just in general. So when I used to do which were taking the readings of the water temperature for a cooling tower, I used to learn a lot about water temperatures, and I used to learn a lot about water treatment, which is very important but very boring. But it's important to plumbers because you get to understand and have an insight into what the water treatment people are doing. But if you know about pH levels and you know about what type of chemicals you should be having in the water and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and list some of the chemicals which we do have in the water over here. So these are things which I've learned, stuck with me during this time. So being a mechanical engineer for me is something which has been a new mission which I've dawned upon, but something which I keep on learning about every year, a couple little more things, just makes me a little bit brighter. But if you're thinking about being a mechanical engineer, I'm going to do a couple more episodes on things like this because the first time I'm doing it. But make sure you're liked, shared and subscribed. This was a quick catch up just on how I got into the mechanical engineer and the first little experiences what I've had. So the first experience was of me learning how to change a belt from YouTube. Yeah? So that's why I've uploaded this video today. Hope you like, share and subscribe. It's Mr. London Plumber. I hope you like, share and subscribe. It's Mr. London Plumber. I'll see you on the other side. Let's get it.